Hey you guys, this is Ruth. Channel's called Kindle Reads, like this wonderful title says right here. And hopefully this shows up well. I think I'm doing like intros and stuff for myself, you know what I'm saying? That way you have like, but I thought I would do that first while my connection is probably the best. And no one's watching, so I have no fear because, if anyone was actually watching this live show live, oh my God. Yeah, so the topic matter of today is I didn't have much to really talk about besides maybe a little bit of a Tuesday talk subject, which is interrupting readers, and hence I thought, you know what, we can expound on that. The things that we wish non-readers knew about readers, like things just not to do. And I feel like it's something that there just needs to be like a book that the non-readers will not read. So we need to make it an audio book. I'm just joking around. Oh, also, yeah, I also want to talk about audiobooks. I didn't put it in the title, but just a little bit about audiobooks because I'm reading or listening to one right now, and I don't know. It's kind of my expectations of reading a book and listening to a book. This is my second audiobook. And I don't know, I feel a certain way. So maybe I should just talk about that first, and then I'll get to reading etiquette 101 type thing, and then we'll get into Pinterest in a minute. But so I'm reading what or listening to the Berlin 101 or something like that. Maybe that's where I got the 101 from. No, it's called oh gosh, I can't even remember the name of the book. It's like the Private Detective Berlin book. That's what it was. And I'm listening to it. It's a James Patterson book. Um, I I like James Patterson. If I believe he was writing all his books, I think there'd be more credit to, I don't know. There's always controversy going on with this guy. But anyways, the book is about this private detective. He goes missing, yada yada yada. I'm still on CD1. It's like 7 CDs. So I'm like, dang, that's a lot of audio to listen to. Um, but anyways, going back to the audio. And the voice acting, it's not bad actually. At first, I was a little skeptic about, me being able to like hearing someone else read the voice to me. Because I think that's one of the important parts about, or one of the most crucial differences between an audiobook and a physical book, or electronic book or whatever, a book that you're actually reading yourself, is that you determine the tone that the characters are taking. And sometimes you even forgo what the exclamation mark is, because a lot of times when you read, you're reading the sentence, you don't know what the if the author is screaming it or shouting it until you get to the very end of the sentence, where you can see if it's an exclamation mark, if it's a period. You can see, what tone the person is taking, but you kind of dictate the tone and how loud the tone is and how impactful the tone is. So when you have someone else reading you the story, they're, kind of dictating the tone. Of course, they have the tone that the author wants you to have, because, it's their audiobook. But a lot of times, as readers, I determine, even if it's like shouting, I determine how loud and how impactful the shout is. But if someone's reading me this novel, then I no longer dictate the tone of what the hell's going on. And a lot of times the voice that you have in mind for a character is different than the audiobook. In the audiobook, there's no going back once you hear the tone or the voice of the reader. Let me get this thing out the way. So when you hear a book, like you hear the character, and then you try to go back to the book, like reading it by yourself, it's like almost impossible for you to now have your own voice for the character that you heard the audiobook for. And in this case, I have a lot of these Mary Jane Davidson books, and I thought the character was hilarious. And I made the character voice smarter than, and when I mean that, like when you hear the audiobooks, the character sounds very just ditzy, like the tone that the reader who reads the story takes. And then when I went back to the book, it's like impossible to read it now because then I had that voice instead of another voice that I myself created for the character. And then I can't just override the voice that I heard in the audiobook. You know what I mean? I don't know. You guys who have read it's one of those mornings. I always have those mornings. If you ever watch my live shows, just do. But if you've ever listened to an audiobook and then you try to read a book, you guys let me know in the discussion box below after this video is over. If you're watching this live, you can also comment in the chat box. I try to take some time apart to go over there eventually. If I see more viewers or if I see any activity, because I have like two screens up at the same time, and I'll check it out. And also have a Twitter handle in the description bar. So while I'm doing any of these live shows, or if you catch any of these live shows, you can always tweet me while I'm recording, and I will get your tweet and I will respond accordingly, either right here or if it's afterwards, I guess on Twitter, I would reply. You know. So back to it. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm a little disturbed by audiobooks. I don't know if I ever really be like, oh yeah, let me get an audiobook. Like, because I like that I dictate the tone. I don't know. I like the character sound that I create for the character, even though I never hear the character talk. So when then I do hear it, it's like different and then causes this whole friction of reality that I've created for the character within the book that I'm reading. I don't know. But you guys let me know. Now on to reading etiquette 101. The things I wish the things I wish in general, like a non-reader would know about readers. And I didn't prepare anything for this. This is like one of my discussion shows. This is how it looks like when I'm shooting discussion videos, you guys. And then I just edit all the long pauses out. And it looks like I'm brilliant, right? But anyways, things I wish non-readers knew about readers. And it kind of spurted from, like I was saying in the beginning, Tuesday topic. If you guys don't know about Tuesday's topic, you guys probably should. I can somehow remember. I definitely think I need to add that in the description. But the whole gist of it is, do you mind being interrupted while you read? And I think 99% of all readers are going to say, yes, we do terribly mind when we're being interrupted while we read. It's like, because especially if you're working and you're doing school, if you're doing anything, and it doesn't even matter if you're not doing anything. It's just when you finally get into a book, you're at a place where you're absorbed in the novel. That means nothing around you necessarily kind of matters. Like you're just into the story that you're reading. And then someone just comes up and they just mess up your feng shui, your whole atmosphere that you had within the novel. They just come in and they wreck it. And you're like, man, you just, I don't know, you just feel like telling them off. But it's almost like this unwritten rule that it's okay to interrupt someone who is reading because they're not doing anything. It's like the opposite of idiocy. Like, don't interrupt me when I'm reading. It's like, that should be number one on the things I believe all readers wish non-readers knew. Do not interrupt me when I'm reading. In fact, don't even pay attention when I lift my head up to look at you. That's not a cue for you to come talk to me. That is a cue for you to back away. I think that also needs to be in a book that we would turn into an audio book. That way people would listen to it for the non-readers. But those are things that they need to know. The look up, you know how you're reading and someone like kind of walks into the room, you look up, right? But then you look back down. I think they need to understand that second part. When we look back down, that signals, don't come over here. I'm reading. But no, I think non-readers take that as like an incentive to come towards you, like to come talk to you. And you're like, please, no, don't come, don't come over here. No. And so I find it hilarious, but I think that needs to be said. The lookup is not a sign for you to come and talk to me. It just isn't. I don't think anybody, it's a mix, universal sign that I think people got mixed up. People thought or people think that it is a sign for you to come and talk. It is not. What else do I think? I think non-readers need to know about readers and our pro quos. Um, Let me see. The non-interruption rule is probably the biggest, and this happened to me. I almost got caught in this mode of being a non-reader for a second because I was going to work. This is a side story. You guys flow with me, flow with me. I was going to work. I finally get to my job. I get out my car. I start walking towards the interest. You know what I'm saying? It's too early, you guys. The entrance of the job, and then there's this girl. She's sitting like right here, right by the door, and she has a book. She's like sitting, you know, in a way where she has her book on her lap. Perfect reading posture 101. We need to have reading posture 101 also. And then she's sitting there, she's reading the book, and I was going to say, excuse me, what are you, I was about to say that. What are you reading? But then I thought, as I was walking, getting closer and closer to the door where she's sitting, I'm like, I would not appreciate someone interrupting me while I was reading to figure out what I'm reading. I think there's only a few times when that's actually acceptable. And I think one of those is at the very, very beginning of the book. So if you see someone with a physical book and they're at the very beginning, like you can only see maybe 2 pages rolling by, then I think it's okay to be like, you know, what are you reading? Because they're not in the thick of things. But if they're like dead smack in the middle, you don't ask them about the book until they actually put the book away, and then you say afterwards, oh, what were you reading? Don't like interrupt them while they're reading. It doesn't make any sense. That's the only time. Hey, whoever's watching the live show, I'm gonna guess it's maybe Keisha. I could be wrong. I'm totally wrong. It's not Keisha, because Keisha would have wrote something already on the wall. But yeah, we're talking about the things we hate about non-readers almost a little bit, you guys. The thing that we wish that they knew. And so that's one of the things. Just don't interrupt. So anyways, the thing with the girl at the front of my job, I just walked past her. And I totally believe in her heart of hearts because she did the lookup, right? And like I said, when you look up from a novel, it is not it's not a thing to say, hey, come talk to me. It's not no. And then she looked back down. You have to understand, that's a sign that's saying, leave me the hell alone with my book. And I was like, of course, I understand your pain as a reader. Go on, read on. And I just walked right past her. And I just kept it moving. I never came back. It's okay. I'm pretty sure she enjoyed that she could read her book in, no interruptions at all. She loved it. I said, I would love that too. We just need a t-shirt that says, don't interrupt me if I'm reading. Even a Kindle, don't interrupt me. I think the Kindle is harder. Like, you can't interrupt someone who's reading a Kindle at all because you don't know where they are in the story. I think with physical books, it's a little bit easier to kind of judge when you can interrupt. Like, you can tell when a reader is about to like turn pages. So maybe then you can probably say, what are you reading? Because, but even then, I still don't believe you should interrupt them. But at least you can tell when they're at the very, very cusp of the book, like the very beginning, and you can say something like, hey, what are you reading? But with the Kindle, there's no way you can kind of tell where the person is in the book. So I think Kindle users are the ultimate people that you should just, if you see them gazing down the book, that should be automatic. Don't talk to me zone. Like, put up the wall. So, um, yeah, I think that's like one of the most important rules about don't interrupt me. I don't know if you guys have any others of your own. In fact, if you do, put it down below. Maybe I will make a book called Reading Etiquette 101, and then I would read that book and make it like an audio book so then people could actually maybe listen to what we have to say about not interrupting us while we're reading. I think also the second thing that I hate, I think I wish non-readers didn't get into, is that they always try to bring your book to a movie level. You know what I mean? By movie level, it's sometimes there are very few times when, in general, this is general speaking, but I'm just saying, there are very few times where books and movies are at the same level as far as what it provides to the reader. Because I think there are two different mediums. I think they're two great mediums. One's more visual. A lot of people can sometimes be more visual. And then, oh, that's another point that I have to make about audiobooks. I'll get to that in a second. A lot of times people are more visual, but then a lot of times people are more, analytical. And they just want to read it and picture things for themselves. But when you're reading a book, you know, first of all, they interrupt you, which is already sending you on this, you know. I'm already on I'm short with people sometimes when I'm reading and they interrupt me. I'm already on a short, and then they're like, is that a movie? And you're like, and I hate when it is a movie because then when you say yes, and they get into this whole movie talk, and they just take you out of your mode of reading. It's just so, it's annoying, and I wish non-readers knew that, because I think when you read or when I see someone reading, for me, it's an automatic sign, leave me alone. And I even try headphones. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, especially at my place of work. I will have headphones on. Okay, you can see the cords. They're red. I have these red headphones. They're in ear, but they're red. Like you can see these red cords. They're in my ear, right? And then I have a book. Sometimes it's either my Kindle. Um, if I don't feel like breaking out the Kindle necessarily, I break out my phone because I have my Kindle app on there. And so if it's a PDF or a book that I didn't get from the internet and I actually got it from the Kindle store, most of the times because I'm at work, it's a little easier to just take your phone somewhere. And sometimes I take 15-minute breaks just to read because what the hell. And they see I have the thing, and you can see I am self-absorbed, and I don't even see them coming in because I have my music going at the same time, and I do that for reasons that way I can not give them mixed signals with the lookup, which should be a new term that we come up with. When you're reading, you look up. They still come and just interrupt me like the book is not important or not in a critical stage in the book. I don't know. Mm. I don't know. Maybe we just shouldn't read in public. But even when you're by yourself, people like just break into your personal space, trying to talk to you, even though you're reading, and they're like, "Oh, you're reading. It's a non-event." Where the hell did they get that from? I don't know. But anyways, I was going to mention this thing about audiobooks. Another pro quo thing or whatever that I have about the audiobooks is that I visualize whatever I'm reading. I think it's a trait that you work on. It starts when you're younger because when you first start reading books, they're most of the time they're illustrated, and the author and the illustrator are trying to portray the story to you, and so you can actually see what the words are representing. That's how you start, and then as you get older, course, there's no more pictures anymore in your books, but you still have that sense of creating a visual, image of what the author is writing about, which is why they go through all that description a lot of the times, or lack of description to let you kind of create your own, you know, reality of what the book is trying to, describe or say or what's going on. And so with the audiobook, they're doing the whole description thing. And I'm driving, by the way. That's probably the only time that I would probably even uh, go through the effort of reading an audio or listening to a book would be when I'm driving. Because if I'm home, I don't even have a CD player in my house necessarily. I used to have a PlayStation 3 that can do CDs, but I have PS4 now and it doesn't do that. So, but anyways, there's nothing that I can even. There's ways that I could, but there's no way I would like. There's no private place where I can just stick. I don't have a CD player anymore, like where I can just put headphones in and listen to the audiobook somewhere else where I wouldn't have to be doing anything. So trying to multitask, drive, and pay attention to the book at the same time, it doesn't work for me. I think that's one of the other issues that I have right now with this audiobook that I'm trying to read, which is the private detective book. Oh, this is Keisha. Hey, Keisha. Keisha. She says, well, I'm not a big audiobook reader person. The main reason is because I can't read it fast. Well, yeah, you can read it faster and almost tend to zone out and need to rewind quite a bit. Yeah, I felt that way too. Like I actually started a whole chapter over because I missed what the heck was happening because I was driving down I-95 and you need to have some serious concentration at certain points in time. Like during rush hour, I don't even bother turning on the audiobook because I'm like, my shoulders are like cocked back. I'm like, focus because these people cannot drive in Florida, man. And so, especially on I-95. So you're like focused, you're like paying attention to the first three cars right here. You're also looking at your side mirror, paying attention to the back car right there, like right behind you, and you're looking at your front mirror. I'm like super cautious. Like I have like a 360, or at least I try to maintain some version of a 360 view when I'm driving, especially on I-95. And so I'm like looking at that, your little rear view mirror so you can check behind you. So I'm like aware. Even if I see a car braking on the third lane, I already ease up on the gas because people, you don't know what the hell's going on in front of you. So, you got to move on to this long explanation of how I drive. But listen, I have got no tickets, no accidents, thank God. And I want to continue that. Whatever. So I'm always cautious of everything. So it's like almost impossible for me to listen to that book and do the I-95. But anyways, when I'm driving, that's the only possible time that I can actually read. And I feel like I do zone out. And I also feel I almost zone out of driving because I can't have both. That's the thing. I can't have them both ways. I can't be super concentrated on the road and pay attention to the descriptions that are going on for me to picture what the hell the guy is saying, or woman, depending on which character is talking at this. Whatever. I can't pay attention to both of them at the same time with the same level of concentration, because this happened to me. I was like driving and then the audiobook was describing some pillars or pipes or something. I couldn't focus on both of them, but I was trying to visualize the floorboards and then there being a crack within the floorboards where there was a gap, and within that gap maybe so whoever this mystery person in this novel he's hunting is in there. I'm trying to picture that while driving, trying to focus on the freaking lanes and the cars that are in front of me in these lanes. You can already see my shoulder hiked up. And the thing is, this is another issue. I hope my coworker never sees this video, by the way. This book was lent to me, this audio book. And now I feel like I'm almost a little bit in a conundrum with this book. So I have to finish it because when I see her, this is going to be one of those subject matters. But then I can only listen to these books while I'm driving, and I only have, and it takes me literally. Um, I drive really fast on I-95, you guys. So I get home in about 15 minutes. If I'm driving cautiously like I should, it probably should take me 20 minutes. And so listening to something 15 minutes at a time where it's breaking, you're breaking up in between. Of course, I can stay in my car and listen longer, but when after work, I just want to get in my house and read a physical book. Oh my gosh. But I don't know. I feel like I'm stuck, between a rock and a hard place right now with this audiobook that I've been given to read by this coworker. Mm. I almost feel like just doing what are those little note things where you kind of just get the synopsis of the book. I almost feel like just doing that and be like, I listened to the full audio because I can't. I don't know. That's my beef with the audiobooks a little bit also. I can't give you both. And if I had an option to choose and I was home and I actually had, a CD player that could actually, who has a CD player still? I don't know. Keisha, you probably have a CD player still. I'm just kidding. You probably do though. I think I did see you on one video with your CD player. Um, but yeah, it it doesn't work out. I don't know. I haven't mastered it yet. I don't want to give up on the audiobook that I was given because I just don't like giving up on any book. And it does seem like there's some intrigue within the story, this James Patterson Private Eye book, but it's I don't know, this audiobook thing. It's hard for me to conquer. Oh man, is there other things that I wish non-readers knew about before I get to my Pinterest? I think this is going to be a pretty short live show because once I'm done with my Pinterest, pretty much done. You know what I'm saying? Um, mm, I guess let's just go to Pinterest. This will probably be like close to a 30-minute type deal. Um, why was I showing you guys with Pinterest? Oh, because I think there are cool pins on Pinterest, and I'm really trying to get into this capture share. So hopefully, or share, capture, whatever, caption share. What the hell is this thing called? Screen share, not caption share. Oh man. So right now you should be seeing nothing because this stupid thing you actually, I don't understand why it makes you go through like two different steps to just show something. So this is just gist of my Pinterest. I have many cool Pinterest books or boards, I guess that's how they refer to them. And so we're just gonna mainly stick to the book related stuff right now. And so let's start off with the Neverland quality of books, number one. And I'm going to talk about my favorite Pinterest right here. Can we see it? Hopefully you can see it. It says, do you like the book I lent you? I feel like that's how the person at my job is with this audiobook that I can't really get into because it's an audiobook and I'm driving and people just don't understand how seriously I drive. I feel like driving almost probably contributes to maybe a higher blood pressure than I should have because I'm like super uber conscious of everything around me. There's very few times where I'm in Zen mode when I'm driving and I like autopilot home. And it's never on the I-95. And with my job, I always have to take I-95 home. But anyways, yes, my computer is performing slow, which is why, also another new point, you guys, which is why I'm getting my laptop. But anyways, let's get on to this Pinterest thing. And then, that person just looks back at you, they're like, ah, and then you're like, oh, you got to that part. I think that's hilarious. I think a lot of us who actually read the Harry Potter series, I think that's how we felt after book 7. And, I don't want to do any spoilers because I think I do have, I think I have one or two people who haven't finished the Harry Potter series who are following me, and I don't want to be like, and they're like this, and I say something right, and they haven't even gotten to that. But I know a lot of you guys in book 7. I think there should be a time period where people can just talk about spoilers, number 1. But anyways, in book 7, that moment, you guys who are Harry Potter fans, that moment when something, huge happens within the story, and then you pause because you're like, what the hell? This cannot be happening. You have this face going on. You're like, ah. And, this is the person right here who's at your house. This could be taken in so many ways right here. This one little screen. This is the person at your house looking at you like you lost your doggone mind. Okay. But this is us. For the people who read it and we're like talking to them, I just found this pen extremely hilarious. By the way, in the description bar, I have my Pinterest. So if you guys want to check out the other pens and stuff that I have, you can check them out. I'm just pointing out cool things. Look at this bench that's made out of a book quote, and this almost seems like this is what is it? What book is this? It's like a ship. I can't even tell, but I think it looked cool for me personally. I don't know. You guys, let me know. I know. I have a few followers on my Pinterest too, which is why I try to update it as much as I can when I can. Well, they do have some interesting things on Pinterest, personally. Look at this. I think this is us. Rain, snow, I don't care. We will read, okay? This is the Snowy Read pin that I have up. This is probably one of my favorite. I love book art. I don't know how well this is portraying for you guys who are doing the screen share. I wish this damn thing could get bigger. Um, but I think this is cool, like book art. And I think on my, what is that thing called? Instagram. Yes. I am so not socially active on any of my stuff besides maybe YouTube, which I'm getting better at. I know I fell off, which is why I did this Wednesday show anyways, because I didn't really have anything to talk about. But I'm like, I need to be consistent and I need to do something every week, which is why, again, when I talk to you about my laptop news, you should be happy because that means hopefully we will be getting back to our normal, weekly video thing where I actually put some effort into video editing. Look at this cover of Jane Eyre. It's like freaking amazing. Like, oh my gosh. This is the only thing that makes me want to actually get a paper book. Because I love my Kindle to death because it's so easy for me to teleport or transport. That's probably a better term. It's better for me to transport, or it's easier to transport books, like hundreds of books. Especially, I'm reading something called The Broken Star, or something to that extent on my Kindle right now. I'm 70% through, but it's a book that's kind of the middle of the road for me. It's not really doing anything positive. It's not really doing anything negative. It's just a book that I'm reading type of thing. And you've already invested too many pages to like turn back. And it's a book that I probably will do a review on. It's a YA novel, but it was just the middle of the road. I also want to talk about what makes a character special, and it's probably going to be more of a discussion video. Maybe next Wednesday we'll bring that up a little bit. Um, but this cover looks great. Um, oh, look at that. You can't buy happiness, but you can buy books. I think this is the motto of what's going on BookTube a lot of times, and and it's kind of the same thing. We do buy a lot of books. I think we do need to slow down in general, but we buy a crap ton of books on BookTube. It's just the way it is. For now. Let me see. What else we have going on? I love this imagery. I wish it was bigger, but it has like these snowflake things. It says my escape. It's one of those fleeting moments. Especially, I have to show you guys. Hopefully, I can do it in a video. I can show you guys. What is it? I can show you my bookcase. That's what it is. I just put up a bookcase. I do own physical books, you guys, even though 99 probably percent of my book reading that sentence made no sense. Scratch that. What I was gonna say. What I was gonna say is 99% of the time when I do read, I read on the Kindle. But I still have physical books, and that moment right there just took me back. It took me back. Now we're gonna go into bookcases. I think this is probably one of my favorite things, bookshelves. Even though I don't physically have a bookshelf, I always have this idea that any book that I read that I give for me is a 5 out of 5 star. I want to own the physical copy. And I want to own the physical copies for many reasons. One of them being because a something the good thing about electronic books is even if you lose your Kindle, you still have access to that book. But it's the feeling of sharing that physical book and the feeling of sitting down in a nook somewhere with the physical copy, feeling the cover, feeling the book that gave you the feels, and being able to mark up that book in a more tangible way than you can electronically. I think that's one of the things that's missing um, with it. Oh, so cool. We can do a screen share with me and my Twitter going on at the same time. I'm trying to read what's going on with Keisha right here on the right hand side. Let me see. Let me see. One of the two audiobooks I actually listened to the end. I just tried listening to it in bed before going to sleep. Sometimes it helps me sleep. Yeah, you probably bored yourself to sleep with that, Keisha. Plus, I know DVD players is like a CD player, which is your computer. Yeah, I guess I could. When I get my laptop, I can put it into the DVD drive. I made sure that my laptop actually had a DVD drive or the optical drive, whatever they call it, so I can actually listen to things and I can actually upload things. And software still comes in the form of CDs still. So that way, even if I do, someone has an old version of something that I want or software or something, at least I can still download it. Oh my gosh, Keisha, you probably broke the record. You buy more than 5 books in your sleep. So I'm surprised about this book outlet thing. If you guys are wondering, I'm talking to Keisha right here on the chat thing, which is why it's cool to like visit me when I'm doing a live show because I pay attention to your chats and stuff, which is awesome. Back to Pinterest. Um, I think I would like something like that, like a bed. Look at the bed. Even the sheets have writing on it, and then behind those sheets is like a bookshelf of. And like I said, I only want to purchase, which is why I like the idea of buying a Kindle version of a book because the markdown price is just way cheaper than the actual physical book, especially when the book just comes out and you just want to read it. You can get the book for what, $9.99, or if there's specials, $2.99. Or what's the blue moon? You can find one of those, super cheap sales where it's 99 cents, or for like a limited time, the book is free and you read it and it's amazing and it's 5 stars and you want to have that book and you can wait. Now that you read the book, you have no pressure to go into the store and buy it when it's still like $20. You can actually wait until the book comes down, or you find it, or you can find it at a secondhand store. It makes a lot of sense, and then you can put it in your bookshelf that looks like this, right? That's what I'm thinking, and I would like the idea that in the future, my future home. This is like my future home idea thing. When I have my nice, super comfy bed like this with the sheets that have some type of meaning to a book. And behind me, it'll be all the books that I love. Like it won't be a single book on there that I haven't read and that I haven't loved, like 5 stars. And I think I'll probably be super possessive over that bookshelf because, I have this thing about lending books because you never really get them back. And even I sometimes find that I'm terrible with giving things back because, like I said, I have these audiobooks and I'm not really reading them or listening to them at a fast pace. So I feel like this girl is not going to get her audiobook until like the end of the year. To be honest, I'm only on book 2 or 3 or chapter 3 of a 7 CD audiobook. I'm still on CD 1 and I'm still on chapter 3 on the first CD. I'm like, dang, this I don't even want to get into it. But just think about that. A bookshelf with only the books that you love in your bed behind you. It's like, oh, I don't know. That's just me. They are beautiful. I totally think the Kindle books are physical books. I'm sorry. I totally think physical books are beautiful, and which is why I have this whole idea of me buying the books that I love. Like I read them on the Kindle to vinify because I don't understand why you would spend technically $20, especially books now are becoming super expensive when they first come out. They're like $20. Um, and you don't even know if they're going to be good a lot of the times, unless it's an author that you love. Then you probably have an inclination that the book will be um, at least decent. You know, at least if you feel like you spent $20, at least the book has to be decent. Um, Look at this. I love something like this. Just a row of books that I love, like just shelf upon shelf. Like you can't even see the back of where you're going. Um, but yeah, I love this. Like a bookshelf that says "Read your bookcase." I love that. And then you fill it with books. This is just amazing. But I don't know. I was in the stream of thought of something, and I just totally talked my way out of it. But yeah, physical books. That's what it was. Um, so getting choked up. But I do think physical books are beautiful, especially when I go to the bookstore. There are some very innovative book covers, but also another good reason about reading a Kindle book first of the book that you are interested in, because A, you're going to pay way cheaper for it if you're going to buy it anyways. And B, it gives you an opportunity to wait for the best edition of the book to come out. So when you do actually have it on your bookshelf, it actually looks good. Every first edition book that comes out, as far as the cover, they do not, all of them, there are some crappy, basically where I'm getting at, there are some crappy book covers, especially when the book first comes out. You know, even decent books that I wouldn't mind putting on my shelf. Like I thought the book was okay, maybe a solid 3-star, maybe this is in someone else's wheelhouse type of book. I'll pick it up, and that way if someone comes to my house, because that's what always happens. They come to your house, they look at your bookshelf, and they want to borrow something. At least maybe they would enjoy that book. I can't lie. Sometimes I buy books for others, not necessarily myself. Like after I read it, I'm like, this is okay. And then you see a beautiful edition of the book, and you're like, oh, I'll get it. Because if someone comes to my house, I'll probably recommend that book, the one that I don't really, I think it's a solid book, but it's not like my 5-star book that's going to be behind my bed, like I just told you. That bed bookcase, like this one, this is only going to be for the 5-star books. They deserve to be in my room, behind me, sheltering me with love. But all the other books that are probably like solid, I don't mind if people walk around and they look at them, they'll probably be in this one, in this case, like a regular bookshelf. Oh man, I'm just, psyching myself out right now. But yeah, I really like that bookcase. Another one that I kind of like is this one right here. Like if you had like a study type of thing, and you have these comfortable chairs, and you have your windows that give you a sense of nature or at least outdoors feel. And I wish like if these windows, hopefully they have like hinges. I'm making this thing up as I go because you can totally not see any way of getting in here. I think this person probably read Marcus Zuzak's Book Thief, and he's like, I am not putting a window that is openable, that's not a word, that you can open in my library. So that way someone doesn't like creep into my house and steal my books. But I think it would be cool if there was like some hinges right here so that way at least you can pop it up and like get a tilt. I don't know if you guys are understanding where I'm going at, but you can kind of push the window out, kind of like those old school car windows that you can kind of push out, and at least you can feel a breeze, or if there's a breeze coming by, or if you want to be really cool, at least smell the smell of grass, the smell of the ozone. I love the smell of rain, which doesn't make any sense because rain doesn't have a smell, but you know what I mean. Technically, when it rains, you're smelling the ozone, but whatever. I love the smell of the rain, and it'd be cool if you had something like that. Oh man, let me see. Most spectacular bookcase. No, this is not it. There's one that I love that I'm going to show you that needs to happen, and I don't know which. Where is it? It's like the best freaking bookcase of time. I have a lot of bookcases in here, so if you do follow me on Pinterest, you can take a more slower gander at what's going on. But where is this? Oh my gosh, I must have passed it. But it's a bookcase that's in, oh, here it is. This is it. This, by far, is probably the best bookcase ever because look at this. A sit-in tub. I would love a sit-in tub. I have like a normal shower thing, and of course, showers are quick. Showers are great, especially when you need to get up and go. But every woman needs a freaking tub, a sit-in tub that's deep where you can immerse yourself and get lost. And then on top of that, be surrounded by books. This is like the best ideal ever. Only thing is, you'd be afraid of like dropping your book, but we're cautious anyways. I would put like a hand towel or something. I'd probably have to modify this a little bit, get a rack where there's towels so that way I can like dive in, come out, at least dry my hands, and then pick up a book and just soak and read, you know, some of my favorite books. I think maybe this should be like all time favorites. Like I would have 5-star books in the bedroom with that bed bookcase, but then I would have this is the best of the best, or maybe classics or something here. But I want this to happen. This needs to be a real thing for me in the future in my life. I just totally need that, checking my Twitter at the same time. Um, you don't want your books near water? It's just, I know that there's a cautious thing that I have with this, which is what I'm explaining, which is why I need to modify this to have either there needs to be a glass or a sliding glass. That should be better because you don't want a glass that opens up because then it kind of obstrues this whole thing. But you need some type of glass. That way, nothing can happen. You can't like accidentally bump into this, or when you're in here and you're like getting up, you can't accidentally like slap this and all your books just come tumbling down into the water. That would suck. But there also needs to be like some towel rack type thing so that way I can pick out a book. It'd be like one of those being Mary Jane moments. You're just reading your book while you're soaking. See, I don't agree with this. Like the books right here, newspapers. I don't agree with this. This is just too dangerous next to this water. I agree with this, but I think there needs to be some type of glass, slide glass, and there needs to be a towel rack, so that way, when I'm reading, I don't get my hands wet, or at least I can dry my hands off before I pick up a paper novel. And there's no way I'm reading an electronic book while I'm in the shower and just asking for myself to get electrocuted. Um, but I really think this needs to happen for me. This, this right here is just yes, dream house book type thing. If I wasn't so clumsy, I would leave it just as is. I would need to put the glass slide protector to protect my books from me myself. But I think that's one of the best bookcases in my opinion. I don't think I put this in my bookcase thing. I think it's a cool idea, but I don't think it would necessarily work for me because I don't think I would pull this out enough. This is like I think it's a cool idea, but I don't think I would necessarily pull out those shelves enough. And I like the idea of like rustic. If you can see this clearly, I like the idea of these rustic bookcases. Because look at this. This looks like it has a story behind it. I would like one of those pieces in my home. Sorry, you guys. I think I'm coming down with sniffles. One of my coworkers been sick, and she's just been still coming into work even though she has sick days. I don't understand. So I think I'm catching whatever the heck she has, which sucks. But I like this idea too. Like I said, the windows. At least you can open the windows. Of course, you're inviting a book thief to potentially come into your home. But still, I do like the idea of these windows. You being able to kind of prop yourself up and like one of those Jane Eyre moments. If you've read is it Jane Eyre? Yeah, Jane Eyre when she's reading the book. In their library, and there's like this nook, and I believe her head is pressed against this window. At least in the movie adaptation of Jane Eyre, she is within this cubby, and there's this window, and she's leaning her head against it. This kind of seems picturesque of something that you can do like that. And then you have, for me, I have my new guitar just sitting right there, and this little shelf thing right here that would have my night light, so that way I can read in the night. It'd be awesome. Look at this. Stupid Windows has detected that your computer performance is low. This is why I'm getting the new laptop. But I think I'm approaching my time. I'm pretty sure we can do this Pinterest thing again. There's plenty of pins that I haven't showed you. Um, and there's other stuff like shows I binge watch. We need to definitely spend some time in this board. Um, Sweet Tooth Attic. Oh my gosh, there's so many good desserts in life that I haven't experienced yet that I need to. And the comic book vault, I love that. So I think we'll spend probably some more time on Pinterest um, on another live show. And we'll go through some interesting pins just to talk about stuff, especially when I run out of things to go about. Oh, even though next live show, I think I want to talk about. No, I know. I can totally see myself accidentally electrocuting myself with my Kindle in my bathroom if I had that idea going on. Um, but I definitely want to talk about what makes a character special. Oh man, it sucks that you can't do screen share with your laptop anymore, Keisha. But talking about my laptop, oh, I should probably get out of screen share by now, but there we go. So back to me over here. Hello, third person that's watching live. Um, what was I getting at? Oh yeah, laptop. I ordered it, you guys, after my last live show. I was like, this has to be a thing. We need to do this. I need to get this laptop. I need to get back to making videos in front of that red couch. Actually, it might be a different couch, but it's a different setup how my living room is. But basically, I need to get back to doing my Kindle reads, having my cute picture intro thing. I miss that. I miss editing almost a little bit. I found I was editing another video the other day. Uh, Technically, it didn't turn out how I liked, so I kind of ditched that video. But actually being in back in Sony Vegas, actually playing around with it, it felt good. I actually felt like I forgot a lot of the things that I used to do and I learned how to do. So I definitely need to get back to that so I can sharpen up my skills. But anyways, I bought the laptop right after that live show video. Not right after, but soon after, basically. And I bought the China. I bought the laptop. It's coming from China. I got a Lenovo. The specs are quite decent. It's probably one of the best laptops that I've ever had because of my budget before. I had a legit 40-hour-a-week job. Um, I can really afford anything above $100, $200, at best $300. But I don't even think I've ever even hit that much as far as the laptop performance. Oh, my stomach is going off, you guys. I'm hungry. I need to go eat. Um, but it wasn't that good. But now I have one of those fourth generation Intel processors. It has its own separate dedicated GPU. It has 6 gigabytes of RAM, and it can go up to 16. So worst case scenario, I'll buy more RAM if I want to. If I feel like it's getting slow on me within a year and a half, maybe 2 year time, I could probably upgrade the RAM, get some more. I think it's a pretty decent laptop where I can actually edit videos, and it won't take me freaking 5 hours to like render something that I make, which you guys probably had no idea it took that long for me to like sometimes render a freaking video. So I'm excited about that. And then the laptop has a webcam, so then I'll probably be doing the kitchen top idea. And these live shows will probably be done in my kitchen. Hopefully I can finagle the light so that way it's good lighting and we can have interesting conversations. But basically, hopefully the laptop gets here by Friday because it's shipping from China and it's taking a long time. Like I just got an update and it's like your package is first it was in Arkansas, then they shipped it to like Kentucky, and then they're like there's some mechanical failure. It's gonna take another day. So I'm just hoping by this weekend, worst case, in the middle of the week next week. So we probably might have another live show right here in the same spot. And like I said, I think I'm going to be doing live shows on Wednesday at 10:30. Probably that's going to be the time because um, I have to go to work at 1. So I have to just shoot this early enough where we can talk for as long as I feel like we need to, and then I can still get ready for work, which is what I'm going to go do. I'm going to actually eat something and then get ready to go back to my job. Look at the long intake. I don't think my job's that bad, you guys. It just work sometimes, especially when you feel like I just want to read. I don't want to work right now. I just want to read a good novel. But um, that is it. Like I said, laptop's on its way. Hopefully, we get back to our regular video type stuff. Um, and I definitely want to maybe do a conversation on what makes characters special, especially for a reader. Like, is there anything that we find intrinsic about what makes a character special? Like, so I might go on about that, but we are at the end of my live show. I don't know if anyone has anything else to say. Guess let me check my Twitter per Koo, and there's nothing on Twitter apparently. And checking the live bar on the live show, and there's nothing. So that is it. I'm going to log off before this live show is technically an hour long, and no one's going to click on it and watch it because they're like, this is an hour long live show. Ain't nobody got time for that. All right, you guys. Peace.